Hello and welcome or welcome back to Language Culture and Dr. Lou. And in this little video, I have plenty of good reasons why Google Translate is downright laughable. And I shouldn't really be picking on Google Translate alone because Yahoo Translate is just as bad, and so are the other internet translation services. Because the thing is, uh, they're really bad at translation. AI does not really get human languages very well, and so they're pretty bad at their translations. And so whenever people want to use AI to translate things from their native language into a language that they don't really know, then what the result is going to be is just a very literal conversion of whatever you typed in, just spat out in another language. And often the results are pretty darn laughable. So it's, yeah, the results of the failed translations are actually the parts that's laughable. And we see this all the time on menus and on signs and lots of other things catering towards the tourists. And it's nice for us as English speakers that other people will translate into English to help make our lives easier if we're traveling around. But the thing is, yeah, they should really not just spit out translations via Google Translate, because what you end up with are things that are sometimes just laugh out loud funny, and other times just end up confusing you even more than you would be without seeing any bots translation. And sometimes it's a little of both. Sometimes you get so confused that it becomes laugh out loud funny. So before we get started, I just want to apologize for my voice today. I'm getting a little sick. Don't worry, you can't catch it over the phone, over the internet or the video or anything like that. So I apologize if I do any sneezing or coughing, or if my voice is just too darn nasal anyway. And also, I'd like to ask you, please, to give this video a like. Please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, so let's get into it. What am I talking about? These translations are laughable. Well, again, lots of signs and menus and all that end up making us really more confused. And this one I kind of get because I understand the French. Prière de ne pas pénétrer dans la zone. I get what that means, but when it gets spat out directly and literally in English, it's downright funny. Please do not penetrate in the zone. You have to almost, in English, almost wonder exactly what they mean by that, right? So this is one example of how the translation ends up adding a funny twist because it just doesn't sound right in English. And we got some even funnier ones for you here. Like, for example, "Stop for kissing." I love this one. And in essence, just because it's so darn funny, "Stop for kissing." What exactly do they mean by that? Like, if you stop for somebody, maybe they will kiss you. Or to mean this "stop" is all about things that have to do with kissing. Anyway, it is pretty funny, but not a very useful translation if it leaves us laughing and a little more confused than we started with. So here we go. Stop for kissing. Okay, fine. Now what else? Oh, beware of broken grass. And here you gotta wonder, are they talking about lawnmower like grass clippings or anything? Or did they actually mean beware of broken glass? Um, and again, it's not helpful if it's leaving you all confused while it's supposed to be helping warn you about something. Anyway, so again, laughable translation. And now, what else we got? as far as something laughable, this one I find really funny. Um, and look in the English um, translation that it gives you. It cremates of greenness. Okay. What is that supposed to mean? It cremates of greenness. And yeah, in the other languages, it doesn't look a whole lot more obvious what it means exactly. I think we're missing a lot of things here. And that right there ends up being, well, a problem when people use internet translation services. If you don't put in everything that you mean in the first place, there's no way the translation is going to pop out as anything useful. It's just going to be a little weird. So yeah, that's just a good example of that too. And so the one after this is probably one of my favorite. No smocking. And I do often wonder if this was a combination between um, internet translation error and then a spell check error on top of that to give you no smocking, which is a good policy if you're against anybody wearing smocks, but doesn't look like that's at all what the sign is all about. And so no smocking, not very helpful, but it is kind of, well, it's worth giggling about anyway. And so what else we got here? We got pharmacy situation. What the heck is the pharmacy situation? To me, I just don't get that. What are you trying to tell me here? A pharmacy situation? Although I'm pretty sure probably talking all about, where you're supposed to park, and where is the pharmacy located and all of that. But when it's just telling you pharmacy situation, I don't know. It's kind of laugh out loud funny because it's so confusing. And that's what we get lot of the time with these silly AI mistranslations. And so they do often, yeah, often end up confusing you more than helping, which is not good. And it's only laugh out loud funny if you're not depending on real information in real life. But thank goodness for the internet, there are people all over who snap photos of these ridiculous translation fails, and so then we can all laugh about it afterwards. So thank you for everybody who did snap these pictures and put them online for us to be able to find them, of course. But no thank you to whoever decided that Google Translate was the perfect tool to get across the message in English, because sadly, it often isn't. And this one might be my favorite, or maybe it's the one I'm most disappointed by, or maybe same thing. Entrance only with Herr Hitler. That doesn't make me feel very interested in going into wherever this place is, where you can't enter without Herr Hitler, apparently. That's anyway, it's silly, silly, silly. But yeah, I don't know. And the funny thing is, we got Führer in the German, but Hitler isn't mentioned by name, so I think they might be thinking of the wrong Führer in that translation. I don't know. My German's not so good, but my English is good enough to make me be really put off by wanting to come in that place, right? And so we've also got this. I thought this one was really funny. It's a place that's selling pastries and cookies and plenty of little snacks, which might be delicious, but I get very confused when it translates in the translation is giving it puppy. And for me, that in no way at all makes me want to eat any of these, right? Poor little puppies. Anyway, But yeah, so I gotta wonder exactly what would have been a better way to translate this into English. I wouldn't know because I don't speak the original language that it came from. But I do know that when somebody's asking me to eat a puppy, that's it makes me giggle, but only because it's so absurd and so terrible to think of that. But anyway, that's another thing. And this one is kind of funny too because it's translating from Spanish into English. And in Spanish, in the top line there, we have the word chica used at the end, which in some varieties of Spanish, some dialects, chica and chico can be used to mean small. But of course, internet translation services don't really get nuance. And so they go right for the usual meaning of chica, meaning girls, a girl. And so fries girl, right where I'm pretty sure it meant to say small fries, which makes a lot of sense why that one would become right before large fries. But this has nothing to do with girls. It's just out of order and pretty funny if instead of small fries, you're saying fries girl. Well, okay, that's true. If there's fries in the mix, but yeah, really, really funny. And again, the theme here is don't trust Google Translate or other translation services because they're bad with all the nuances of natural human languages. And so that one's pretty bad, but this one is even worse. It's so worse. So apparently we got soft crab, fried soft shell crabs that somehow would you want to order along with that broiled yellow-tailed Jew? I don't think so, right? And for the record, this is stupid translation bots is now coming off totally anti-Semitic, which is worrisome to me because, by the way, Jews do not have tails, do not have horns, none of that. So I hate to see this idea propagated by some stupid internet translation service. And so I guess once again, the theme is don't use them. Don't trust them, don't use them, but maybe you can laugh at them. That's always kind of funny. And so beyond the broiled yellowtail Jew, we've also got the bells, do not touch. Pretty sure the warning is supposed to be don't touch the bells. But again, internet translation services are often just going to put in a very literal conversion of what you typed in exactly. So often the word order is coming out all wrong. It here looks like they're warning that the bells do not touch. Like this would be a warning to the bells, telling them do not touch. But yeah, I'm pretty sure what they meant is humans don't touch the bells. Anyway, so I thought that one was pretty funny too. And it's funny to me to think of bells. How would a bell work if there's no touching anything? Right? Wouldn't the little clanger have to at least touch the bell? Anyway, and so this one too is kind of funny. Again, we see these mistakes in a lot of menus, and this where there was a list of pasta dishes leading up to this one right here, and penne, I already get that. As an American English speaker, we know what the word penne means, right? It's a kind of pasta, certain shaped pasta. But how you get from pasta to pens to angry, I don't know. But it is well, it's mockable and it's laughable, but it's what it's not is helpful to somebody trying to understand what the heck that dish is before they order it. Pretty bad. Anyway, it's sorry again about my cold. I'm not loving how Yeah, how my voice is sounding, but I'm trying my best not to cough, not to sneeze, nothing. So, uh, thank you for bearing with me. And we don't have too much more to go, actually. In fact, we have another menu item, which to me, I don't know where this comes from. It's salad. It's salad. That's really not something I want to eat now, is it? Because I'm really afraid of, what the consequences are gonna be on me. Am I gonna eat the salad and then get all itchy, itchy and scratchy all over? I don't know. But yeah, so we do have um, funniness here, but not helpfulness, of course. So again, theme is don't trust Google Translate or the other AI translations because they were often to steer you wrong. And although it's laughable, it's almost never helpful in real life if you're someone trying to rely on that translation. And chicken tights. This to me is also pretty funny because I'm pretty sure they cannot have meant chicken tights. Um, According to the picture there, it looks like maybe they're talking about chicken thighs. Um, and maybe they're wrapped up tight or anything, but what the heck are chicken tights anyway, right? I got no clue. Anyway, like I said, a lot of these would just leave me more confused after I read the mistranslation than I would be even without any mistranslation. Uh, Pictures are good. They help make things a little obvious to us, but bots translations, they only give us reasons to laugh and frustration if we were thinking about uh buying this in real life, but then we're too scared to because we don't know what the heck chicken tights are. Anyway, it's a whole thing. And so this one, again, we're talking about foodstuffs, but this one I like because it's so odd. It's just so downright opaque in English that you gotta really wonder what the heck they were going for. Snap the garlic mojo to the orange. What? What does that mean? It sounds like maybe one line from a poem, from a really weird poem that I have no idea what it's about, but it is instructing me to snap the garlic mojo to the orange, which I don't even know what the heck that means. So, what? Anyway, this brings me back to the theme of Google Translate is downright laughable. And so don't trust it. Don't use it. And you'd be better off hiring a real life translator to do this work for you. Trust me, there are people who do this for a living, and nearly every single one of them is going to do it 100 times better than the AI would. Anyway, and so this one just might be my most favorite of them all because it's nice for me to learn that for only 99 euro cents, you could get some brand new mozzarella ass, right? Mozzarella ass for 99 euro cents? Yeah, sure, why not? It's cheap enough. Let's just see what the heck it is. But still, again, don't trust AI translations. And yeah, this Google Translate example is probably, yeah, it's just too funny because there's no way that mozzarella ass is actually what's for sale, right? Anyway, and that does make me think I've seen lots of other little bot translations and typos effects where we end up using the word ass when we mean something else. So that's just not, you know? And so this one I also like because, well, it's super confusing. Entrance no. Almost in English, I would be thinking entrance no is short for number, and I'm missing what number it is. Or maybe they're just screwing up the word order again and it's all no entrance. It's hard to say, not being there and all that, but what I can tell you is the sign is not helpful translated as is. It's just not. And so this one, I think this is gonna be our last one. And the reason why I think that is I remember wanting to save the very much confusing one for last. And one thing I noticed about this is that in the original, um, it says grazie. So obviously it's saying thank you somewhere in the original message, but that got totally left out in the whole translation thing. So that's annoying that the translators are forgetting their manners anyway. At least when it's Google is doing the translation for you, it's gonna forget their manners. But but what you come up with is a super confusing message. I mean, aside from the no thank you, but please, who to say 50, 100, 200, 500 euros? It before not to have problems with the rest. What? What the heck is that supposed to mean? That to me, I don't know. That's oftentimes that's I wanted to leave you with this one as an example of how oftentimes bots translations and they're getting bots because people are simply plugging in their original language into an internet translation service and then having no idea what comes out the other end. And what comes out there is so darn confusing to any English speaker that the sign is practically useless. Please, who to say 50, 100, 200, 500 euros it before not to have problems with the rest. I don't understand any of this. And again, that takes me right back to Google Translate is laughable. And by that, what I mean is the translations it comes up with are laughable. And I don't want to give anyone the impression that Google Translate is the only bad internet translation services, because trust me when I say the rest of them are just as bad. They're really just as bad. So thanks again for watching these silly, silly bots translations with me. And yeah, and I appreciate that so much. And please again, give this video a thumbs up, give it a like if you haven't yet. And if you would enjoy seeing more content about language and culture, some are funny mistranslations, many others have to do with something else linguistic, consider subscribing to the channel so that YouTube might suggest a little more language and content based language and culture-based content for you. So again, thank you very much. And yeah, until the next video, catch you around next time. Bye-bye.